Hey everyone, welcome back to another production meeting. Yay, it hasn't been 5 months again.
What, it hasn't?
Yay.
I
Well,
know. I'm so out of my out of my rhythm now. I don't know what to do.
I know, but I'm glad that I've seen you guys' faces twice in a week.
I know it.
It's been fun.
We got to get you checked then, Clint, because nobody likes to see my face too often.
That's not true.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
I love to see you all the time, all the time.
you.
Maybe
Now
not.
we know the real reason Ryan moved to Kansas. He goes, I thought I wasn't gonna have to see you as often, but now I'm in this awkward,
Here we are. Clint, I told you, you said this would just be the two of us.
Oh yeah,
All
that's
right, I'll see
awkward.
myself out.
That's awkward.
Bring back Matt.
Maddie.
I thought he was funny.
Shout out to Maddie.
I know he was working tonight. Both of us were working tonight. He's probably still there. So
Boo. Oh well. He's got to pay some paychecks and stuff, get some paychecks and stuff.
yeah, for real.
Anyway, what have you guys been doing this last week? Anything new?
Absolutely nothing, man. I was thinking because that's usually how we open these videos. I was like, gosh, I've been doing nothing. Well, that's not true. I've been finally catching back up on God of War, Ragnarok, because for like up until this last weekend, like I hadn't played in over probably close to a month. Because my usual thing with that game is my brother really he likes to watch me play. It's kind of like our own personal Twitch thing, like where he literally just comes over and watches me play. So, and our schedules have been very opposite. I haven't been able to play too much until recently, where the weeks kind of opened up more. So, I'm about 22 hours into the game. Fabulous game so far. If anybody here has anybody here played the first of the 2018 God of War?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
have
your
it.
opinion? Oh, well, Ryan, you need to play it. Clint, your
It's
opinion of
sitting
it?
on that shelf. I just haven't played it yet.
It's here somewhere. Um, I actually loved it. I thought it was better than the other ones, the first ones.
Well, I am as far as going back to the original like lore of Greek pantheon. I don't know. I love those so much. Those are pretty solid. So it's like this is it's a really nice game. So I gave God of War 2018 an 8 out of 10. I was like it's really good. It's really a solid game, but I wasn't like overhyping. Like I wasn't trying to give it, even more glory than like it deserved. Like I wasn't going into it completely like, "Oh my God, I love this," and just not thinking about it. And then people were replaying it like last year in anticipation for Ragnarok, and people were like, "Yeah, now I'm seeing kind of the flaws here and there. It's still a great game, but instead of being a 10, it's more like an 8 now." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's where I started, and I also replayed it, and I still think it's an 8." So it's like I started at an 8, finished it at an 8. This one, Ragnarok, I'm like I said, I'm about 22 hours into it, and it's great. It's so good. Like I'm feeling the gush that people were feeling for the first one when it came out, and I'm like, it took what was so good about the first game and just improved upon it even more. Like it's never stale. And I'm not gonna go into it because it's still fairly new. So spoiler free and all that. But yeah, Ryan, you need to play the first one, especially for the score alone. Absolutely, I know you know this.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then the second game is even like just like the gameplay and the visuals, the score is even better than the previous. So it just improves
One
upon it.
of my
So
favorites of the year.
yes. So that's what I've been doing the last week. No, I caught up. I'm still catching up on House of Dragon. I take forever on movies and shows. So those two things are what I have been doing. Who else?
Right?
Ryan, what have you been doing?
Didn't do a whole lot. We always take January easy as far as trying to get into movies go because there's nothing that's come out, so it doesn't matter. But we did go just 30 minutes ago, I believe. Just got back from seeing a movie, which is definitely not the reason we're doing this so late. It was date night. We need a date night. Now, I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's in danger of going to see The Devil Conspiracy if you even got a theater big enough to play this Czech Republic made English language movie with just non-existent well-known production company whatsoever and no well-known actors attached to it. I don't know why we saw it, um, but it's not worth seeing. So there's that. I mean, my tiny in-depth review is just if you ever wondered what a movie would look like if it were just plot from beginning to end, and then it ended, and none of it was good.
Wow.
You sold me on this obscure movie I've never heard of, with people I've never heard of a place I've never heard of, and we're not even getting it. Has
Don't go out of
has
your way.
anybody has anybody watched Megan yet this year?
Ah, our theater our visitation to the theater schedule has been so off. I have not gotten to see Mithrigan yet. I've heard good things.
Mithrigan, yeah,
Yeah, well, it's got a number in the title, so it's
yeah.
Mithrigan.
I know that's
Um,
that's how we've referenced it at work too. Yeah, exactly.
but we'll
But I
have it by
don't get
next week.
that. Yeah. Um, but I'm hearing it's really good. It's like 95 on Rotten Tomatoes, and like to hold that after a week. Okay.
Yeah,
We're going to see it
yeah.
this
You
upcoming
usually expect,
Sunday.
yeah, especially like I mean, aside from the fact that this is a PG-13 Blumhouse horror film opening on the first week of January that has no right to be any good. Usually, you expect it to start out with you're like, oh yeah, that's not bad, 65, something like that on Metascore, and then it's enough to talk you into it. And by the time you see it, it's down to a 59 and it's yellow, and you're like, this is not good. Why were people saying that? This seems to have only gone up a little bit since its release. So looking forward to it. Probably we'll have it in by next week.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
next time frame, 5 months from now.
With that being said, I've heard temper your expectations, because it's not quite what you think. It's more of a psychological suspense than anything, and not full out horror. So
As it should be.
yeah. So, um, but yeah. So yeah, we'll probably all have seen that at some point, possibly by next week. Clint, what'd you do?
I started school.
It,
My,
What's that? Is
is
that on
that
HBO?
I know. I was gonna say, is that a new series on
it
Hulu?
is a new series. It is my next 4 months of TV that I have to watch.
That's a long
Um,
run.
it is. Yeah, I started my studies in international film class and studies in film class. One is going to teach me how to write films, and one is going to teach me about Asian film. So there you go. This week I had to watch two movies by Bong Joon-ho. Um, Barking Dogs Never Bite, his first movie, and Memories of Murder. Yeah, it was a good movie. Memories of Murder was a good movie. Barking Dogs Never Bite was just so bizarre. It's literally about a guy who just tries to find some dog that's barking in his apartment complex, and he spoiler alert, he murders this dog, and just some of the consequences that comes from like killing this dog is so bizarre. But
I have to add
Memories
that
of
to the list.
yeah, it was good. I mean, it was like an hour and 45 minutes, and it's just that it's interesting. I like to see like some like famous like art house directors and like where their first films are, like Kevin Smith's Clerks, and like this is really kind of interesting, and Reservoir Dogs and stuff. But yeah, like this one was just weird. But it was good. Um,
Yeah, let me know when you get to Hero, uh, because
Hero.
yeah, you remember? Oh God, when did that come out? Like 2003? Is a Jet Li movie?
I like that movie. Are you dissing on Hero?
No, yes and no. I just remember that, like, I was maybe 10, yeah, 10 or 11 at the time, depending on what time of the year. And I remember that movie like weirdly, like I don't remember like I didn't understand it. And I remember going to see it with my brother and my dad, and my brother was more into like Japanese and culture, and samurai swords, and koi fish kind of art and stuff like that. And it was more so for him, and my dad and I are just like, all right, this is a movie. but again, I just remember that I recall not understanding it, and I haven't seen it since. So I'm dissing on it because I was so young, but I probably have no right.
So next
You,
week, Alex watches Hero again.
I'm good. I'm good, man.
it's
Alex.
actually it's actually a really good movie.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's a very good
that's what.
Chinese Jet Li movie.
Yeah, I hear, but I remember it again. I was a kid. I was like 10, so I remember it being slow paced.
I'm gonna find it for you and send it to you with your next batch.
Oh, oh gosh, the usual suspects and Hero.
Yeah, one really good
Oh
movie and one masterpiece.
Find out
yeah,
which is which next week on production meetings.
yeah, right. Um, so yeah,
Oh,
and then I watched Memories
rips
of
for the best
Murder.
movies.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get this back on. Um, so yeah, and then I watched Memories of Murder this year. Actually, just a few hours ago, and it was a good movie. Very Seven-esque, like so.
Hmm,
So it was good. It was good.
good.
All right. So we are going to talk a little bit. It was a very slow news week. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the Golden Globes that were on this week. And
Sorry, we're gonna slowly play you out as you say important things, not because you don't deserve it, but because other people have paid to have more time talking on stage than you. There's my thoughts on the Golden Globes.
yay! And Michelle Yeoh can beat people up apparently. So there's that. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of run through this list. Because I honestly kind of forgot like who won and what. So best motion picture drama was The Fablemans.
Hmm.
I don't think anybody was kind of surprised about that. Best musical or comedy motion picture was Banshees of Inisherin. Again, no surprise. Um, House of Dragon took best drama series. Abbott Elementary took best TV series comedy. Guillermo del Toro took best motion picture animated for Pinocchio.
Hmm.
White Lotus got best limited series or anthology series. Kevin Costner won the Golden Globe. That's interesting. Zendaya won for Euphoria for best actress in a drama. Evan Peters got best actor in an anthology series for Monster. Steven Spielberg won best director this year. Best screenplay went to Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin. Kate Blanchett won for Tar. Austin Butler won for Elvis. And Michelle Yeoh won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Wow, Colin Farrell won one. I didn't even know that. He won for Banshees of Inisherin as well.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
This one is kind of deserved. Jeremy Allen won for The Bear. That's actually a pretty good show if you guys have.
Oh yeah. For that's on Hulu about the cooking
Yeah,
show, right? I remember watching. I think I watched two episodes of that, and while we've all been in the industry, the service industry, um, and it's not that great to, or it's a little PTSD to immerse yourself into that again, like via
yeah,
show. But at the same time, it's like it almost is. And again, I've only watched two episodes, but from what I gathered of those two, it's like it captures that kind of life pretty well, but
yeah,
it doesn't make you feel bad like being there. Almost, it's like it's almost sympathy, like you feel that show, especially if you've worked in the industry. So that's pretty good on him. I think he did really good. I
yeah.
you could feel he was doing pretty good in that. So yeah, I think that's well deserved. And again, I've only watched a couple. So
I think it's only like 8 episodes at a half hour length, so it's pretty quick. So yeah, if you guys have just a couple of hours to spare, I'd run through it. It's pretty easy watch. Um,
I think I'm
I preferred like the last few episodes of the season, but yeah. So Ki Won Kwan won for Everything Everywhere All at
Mhm.
Once. Um, and that is about it. What's funny is the best original score went to Justin Hurwitz for Babylon.
I don't know how I feel
Mm,
about that.
yeah. But I mean, Angela Bassett won for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's pretty good. Um, that's about it. I mean, unless you guys want to like deep dive into it, there was really nothing in there that was kind of shocking.
I mean, yeah, the only things I would like say are like I don't want to deep dive into it because the Golden Globes are just only so reputable when they're as far as predicting like Oscar nominations go. This is Colin Farrell's second Golden Globe win and zero Oscar nominations. So I hope he actually gets an Oscar nomination this time.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's kind of weird looking at like the front runners for the Oscars for Best Picture and seeing kind of Banshees enter the race, which I kind of dismissed as a potential Best Picture winner. So I guess we'll see kind of how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Banshees of Inisherin. I wouldn't. I think the Banshees of Inisherin is one of those movies that like I would watch once. I enjoy the performances and the scenery and the music. But it was depressing. I wouldn't watch it again. It was just one of those movies that I would just be like, yeah, it's good. Watch it when you're not suicidal, but you know, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Ryan. I mean, Angela Bassett was amazing. All the winners I kind of got. I've heard that. I'm kind of surprised that Austin Butler got over Brendan Fraser.
Well,
Uh,
Brendan Fraser, that's where it's tough to be to really judge because Brendan Fraser's had history with the foreign press and didn't show up, so it's hard
mhm.
to tell whether that's going to be Oscar gold or not for Butler.
I have offense with that because uh what I saw Elvis and what is it Ashton or Austin Butler? It's Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Um I he he played well. I don't think he did fantastic, but I thought he did all right. He looked the part, he played the part, he was solid, fine. I think he was a little bit of a victim of that movie having very, very weird editing. I mean, Clint, did you see it? I know Ryan's opinion on this because we've talked about this, but
What, the
have you
whale?
seen it? No, Elvis.
Oh no.
Yeah, see, like the first 10 minutes of that movie, you especially get it. Really, God, it's the whole movie, in my opinion. But like, especially the first 10 minutes, it's got weird editing, like almost like people who learned Word and want to make it like, zany and like graphic. Like they just put like clip art everywhere. That's what this movie felt like, in my opinion. And I was told that they wanted to appeal to a younger audience. So they like tried to make it like, hey, this is hipper, this is cool. And I'm like, what? And
Well,
it was so off paced and everything. So but he was a victim of that. But Brendan Fraser, like if we're talking about like actor to actor, like just plain looking at how they performed, Brendan Fraser should have easily won. I'm not even like trying to jump on a bandwagon of like, like, hey, everybody else says this, so I'm gonna say this too. Like, no, I genuinely like we talked last week. I genuinely thought that he had a great performance. Like it's one of those performances again where he does so well that you don't even think that it's him. You think it's a character. Like I had a similar experience with Stillwater. Matt Damon did so good. Like I wasn't thinking it was Matt Damon. I thought it was whoever he was. So
right. I mean, was it edited a lot like Moulin Rouge?
Yep.
you know
Yeah.
what?
To the point where if you turn it off
I've
in the
never
first
seen
30
it.
minutes, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep talking, guys. I'm gonna try and get my light back on. I think something went wrong. So I'm here, but just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Keep going.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that the Fablemans won. I've heard like a lot of people. I was kind of surprised that Severance lost in Best TV Series. Did you see that, right?
No, I did not.
Um,
I was rooting for House of the Dragon all the way. So
oh, well, there you go.
I don't know
Um,
what I haven't watched it, so I can't say one way or the other. But I don't know what Better Call Saul did to deserve just getting completely shut out at every single Golden Globe ceremony for the last 5 seasons. But apparently they did something.
oh yeah, that's right. Because they're nominated like every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
So but that's
Oh,
what I mean. Is like the Golden Globes are just such a light. They're just such a gentle look at what major awards will look like,
Uh,
the Oscars and the Emmys. That's just
mm,
like half of them. You're like, oh yeah, that does look like what this race will look like. And half of them are like, oh, Austin Butler versus Brendan Fraser. I'm not actually sure that's what that will look like. I think Brendan Fraser will probably win the Oscar because the Golden Globes just don't like it. So
right. You probably don't.
uh, not not his fault. I'm not trying to get
Yeah,
into it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah. Similarly, Tom Cruise
yeah.
gets no love from the Hollywood foreign press, but I think Top Gun will just do really, really well at the Oscars. So
Cool. All right. Any other thoughts on this?
Nah.
Eh.
I would
Okay.
like to see some of the best scores of the year get nominated.
I mean, who won? What were the other ones for the score?
It was probably Fablemans, which was just Williams taking a victory lap for a 25-minute score. Um, Women Talking, which was Hilder something something from Joker taking a 35-minute victory lap with a very dull score, and a couple others that nobody. Banshees, which is pretty good. Carter Burwell's also always good, and then something else instead of like Northman or Woman King or like really really well put together unique scores.
Um, so yes, it was Justin Hurwitz from Babylon, Carter Burwell from the Banshees of Inisherin, Alexandra Desplat for
Oh,
Guillermo
from
del
Pinocchio,
Toro's, yeah, from Pinocchio.
that was a good score. That was a good score.
Yes, and Women Talking in the Fablemans. Um, yeah.
My only thought of that is like, and I've talked about Babylon before. I'm like, who can even tell that there's a score in that movie when you're so distracted by what's on screen? I'm like, oh, there was music playing that
Yeah, right.
entire time.
I mean,
Uh,
I've listened to Babylon. It's just, I mean, Justin Hurwitz loves jazz. That's great, and he got 2 Academy Awards for La La Land, so he doesn't
Yeah.
need this because he won the both Golden Globes for La La Land also. So I'm like, why?
one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, all right. So that was the news because nothing else really kind of happened. Not that I remember anyway, or maybe I was just not paying attention. So last year or last year, last week, we did our
Almost last year.
we did our best and worst of 2022. So let's look forward to 2023. Um, as we've talked, off recording and stuff, I'm just going to kind of go through the Hollywood Reporters list. So this is via Hollywood Reporter and editor Kimberly Nordyke. These are some of the most anticipated movies of 2023. Since we went through the news pretty quickly, we can kind of just take our time with this if you guys want. I know. So let's start this off. We just talked about this movie, Megan. I guess this is one of the ones that they're most anticipated with. I personally can go either way with Megan.
I am like, had we start off January 1st, like, all right, everything coming up, and then we start with this movie, I would feel exactly the same way as you. Like, I probably, if I saw it, great, but if I missed it, who cares? But because of all the buzz that it's been getting, I want to see it. But on its own, like, before all this, I was like you. So I was, but I want to see it now. But before then, I would have been just, yeah, whatever.
Yep, well put.
Oh,
Oh, I can take or leave this one.
yeah.
I don't know why. Like Blumhouse and PG-13 and horror movies in January are just it's a hit or miss, really. It's like
Yeah.
playing darts in the dark. So
Not to deviate too far out of left field here, but I was going through, I was texting you guys, I was, clearing up my space on my phone, getting rid of old pictures and everything. And there was a picture of speaking of Blumhouse, there's an old picture of the Fantasy Island poster that I had. I think I had gotten it, and I was like trying to either sell it or just give it to somebody or something like that. And I just remember thinking, man, what a piece of crap. So
wow.
you just jogged my brain about that. Sorry.
It, well,
back into
it is kind of funny to say that because like there's this expectation with Blumhouse that's gone from about I think 75% misses to about 50% misses. In the last like year or so, or a couple years or so, I'd say we're narrowing that to about like 25%. And we're looking at movies that don't look good because they look like that. Oh, another Blumhouse movie that's just kind of phoning it in. And we're like, we get Megan, and we're like, oh wow, that was maybe we should stop taking Blumhouse for granted so much.
well,
Yeah.
hopefully M Night does that same thing because he's got one coming out and I don't trust it at all. Sorry, not to get ahead.
Boo.
No, let's
Okay.
let's
Let's not get ahead.
okay.
Because
Tell
it's
me that's next.
actually it's not. I completely forgot that. When does that come out? Is it
Not
February?
February 4th,
February third,
3rd.
fourth,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
same
Well,
thing.
it's not even on here. The next one up is actually House Party.
Let's
From
no.
LeBron James. Yeah.
I'm
This is
good.
going to be skipped. Um, I
By
don't know
everyone. I mean,
why.
by us, but
Yeah, probably. So I'm not going to give this a time of day unless you guys want to talk about this, but
nope.
so Knock at the Cabin, I believe is the M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah.
one that's in February. Um, I'm just throwing this. This is not on the list, but I'm throwing this out there because you guys just reminded me of it. I don't know. I've seen the trailer and I'm like, what is this about? I don't get this at all. So
I have the opinion of I feel very much like that, Clint. I was like, I've seen this trailer maybe 4 times periodically, and I'm like, I kind of still don't get it. Um, I think having Dave Bautista, who's a fairly well-known name, pretty pretty much a household name, he's too recognizable for this to be like good just on its own. And I'm like, plus, I think is M Night directing this or is he just producing this?
no, he's directing this.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, M Night. I'm sure you're a great person, but I have no faith in this movie. Like because I mean, what was his last movie? Old from 2 years ago that, Clint and I saw together and we were like, what the heck is this movie? So all of us were riffing on that. And I'm just like, yeah, does M Night really and we were talking about what was it? The Happening and how Matt was like, have you seen that? And I said, no, I still haven't seen that. And he goes, it is so bad that it's good. They are running away from the wind.
my personal favorite. So bad it's good movie.
Yes. So, so I don't know, man. I'm going to see that movie because of the position I have. But if I'm a general moviegoer, I'm probably looking at this and going, I don't trust him one bit. I'm not wasting my money. That's just how I feel. So I'm like, I want the movie to do good. So hopefully, maybe it's like Bloomhouse with what Ryan was saying. Maybe he'll be on an upward trend, but his track record probably is going to say no to that.
His
So,
track record started going down in Avatar, so
yeah, I mean, how long ago was that? 14 years ago now?
something
13
like that.
plus? Yeah,
I mean,
so
well, okay. So to be playing devil's advocate, I mean, he did produce two good ones after The Last Airbender,
You want
which was what was it, The Visit?
Visit and
And
Split. Please say Split.
yeah, Split.
Okay, good. I
Yeah,
was
Split
worried
was
it would
good.
be anything else that you'd name.
not Glass, but Split.
Here's the thing about Glass. I actually enjoyed Glass up until like the last quarter of that movie. Crap on that movie for that last act. Oh my gosh. What
Yeah.
a piece of garbage. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, okay, but so that is fair and I get that because Split like you said is fairly good. And going back to his older stuff, I love Signs personally. I think Signs is really great. Um and then of course there is what is the one Sixth Sense. Everybody knows that. So I mean, but that was so long ago. And then but Split is actually fairly still relatively newer. What, 2017? So only
Probably.
16. Ah, yeah. So yeah. So I mean but still, I'm like it's an industry of, in my opinion, what have you done for me lately kind of deal. They kind of
Oh
gets
yeah,
you.
completely.
So I will be seeing this, but if, like I said, if I'm a general moviegoer, nah, I would pass. I would pass.
Oh well. All right. Well, moving on. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is on my list to see.
Yes, I agree. Other people give their thoughts because I've been talking too much.
I mean, I'm actually quite surprised by the Ant-Man movies. I was never an Ant-Man fan, as a comic book reader. But I'm actually really surprised by the quality of them. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of crap on Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I mean, I kind of dug it. It's a good sequel to Ant-Man, and I'm looking forward to what this movie is going to produce for the rest of the MCU and see how well like Jonathan Majors does as Kang.
Mhm.
And it looks good to me. I mean, it looks intriguing.
Um, Go ahead, Ryan. No, go ahead.
I was looking forward to this after the first trailer, and then I believe the second trailer also looked good. It sold me on a lot of the tone. And then I saw there was another trailer that came out, which reminded me of when Marvel did this a lot. And I was like, I just want to stay away from that. And then we went to the movie tonight, and I feel like I just watched the whole movie. So my excitement for it pretty much died with that trailer.
I agree and disagree sort of at the same time. So if we're talking about the same trailer, the most recent trailer, um, I was actually the opposite. Like the first trailer, I was like, I'm good. This is just gonna be kind of okay, and then it's just kind of another, notch in the belt. It like I'm I didn't really care. And Clint and I'm very sorry. I hated Ant-Man too. That was probably my worst Marvel movie. At the time. At the time, I was just like, this movie exists purely for the existence of the end credit scene.
And
Just
I'm
kind of
with you. I like.
so I just a stepping stone to Endgame or Infinity War, whichever one it came out right before. Yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah, I was like, I
No,
can't remember.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a game. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I can't remember. So anyway, but that was that. And, I'm not Ant-Man 3, bring it on, cool. I did not like the first trailer. I think I've only seen that one and then this most recent one. I like the most recent one because it felt like the getting back to kind of where we were in Marvel, but I guess, between me and Ryan, I guess it could be bad or good depending on who you are. I liked this trailer a lot. It had me hyped. I was like, okay, okay, let's do this. So obviously we're all gonna go see it because it's Marvel and that's just the state of the things we're in now. But I'm feeling more optimistic than I was, say, about 2 months ago. I am actually more excited to see this than just kind of I'm obligated to see this.
Hmm.
So yeah, I will obviously be seeing it. Hopefully it's okay.
All right. So next up is Cocaine Bear.
You
Okay.
know, um, we were I dress the theater often. I put the posters up and everything. And Matt was telling me the other day, he goes, "Why does our hallway feel like a hallway full of fake movies?" And that being one of them. We've got Fear, we've got Plane, we've got Cocaine Bear, we've got 80 for Brady, and I'm just like, you know what? You're pretty right. It feels like a hall of fake movies, and this feels like a fake movie. And it's A24, so it's gonna be weird as crap. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see it just because it's ridiculous.
It's about a bear that snorts cocaine and starts eating people.
And
I mean,
apparently it's based on true events. So
yeah,
that's a
like
thing.
loosely based, very loosely
Yeah.
based, but yes,
Like there happened to be a bear. There
right.
happened to be cocaine.
Good
What
things happen,
happened? Ooh.
right?
So I'll see this. I will 100% see this. But is it going to be good? Oh, that the jury's very, very much out on
I
that
don't
one.
know.
Bobby, Bobby, hey.
Next up is Creed 3, and I am probably going to be the most polarizing of this, but I don't care. I liked Creed 2. I thought it was okay. Um, I don't know. I just think that this is another threequel that's trying to suck out the glory of what happened with the first. I like both of these actors very much. But this is another one that I can hit or miss with. I don't care much. I'm kind of
Yeah.
interested. Sorry, I'm kind of interested just to see like how Michael B. Jordan does with his directing, but I could care less like what happens on screen.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Creed, the first one, fantastic. I think it's a pitch perfect legacy sequel. Um, and the second one was like, okay, we're stretching to what this can be, and I think this will probably be more of a stretch. But on the other side, if it ends up being good, it'll be that much more impressive for a solid streak. So,
Hmm.
because I don't think two
Yeah,
is bad, I just don't think it's that good.
Right.
I think we all kind of share the general same opinion. I never saw two because I just never I just never got around to it. The first one I thought was good, not great, didn't blow me away, but a solid movie. And I've heard that two's about the same. I've heard some people say it's a little bit worse, some people think it's a little bit better. It's
Two
just
never
kind of
gets
up
it
and
never gets over its concept.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I'll see this. That means I'll have to catch up on two. Well, plus I want to kind of go back and watch the first one anyway. So I'll be seeing it, and I'm like 70%, more like 65%, like more like, hey, yeah, let's go to see this, and 35% being more obliged to go see it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Another legacy sequel, Scream 6, is coming out March 10th.
I'm good. I'm staying away from it. No, I'll see it.
Um, Look, how do you not pay Neve Campbell? Seriously. I know this is my soapbox moment, but pay her. Like, seriously. Stop it. It's so stupid.
Yeah, this is easily 95% like obligation to go see this for me.
Probably.
5% like actual interest,
Yeah.
because I'm on record for saying that I hated number five so much. And we all died a little inside during that movie. I think so.
I quite enjoyed five, which is why I'm wondering why
It's
we're
okay,
here we
Ryan.
are.
Oh, let's turn off your camera, Ryan.
But here we are 14 months later getting six, and that's why I'm not looking forward to six.
That's
Um,
true.
but I will say, and I feel bad that Rachel's over there, she's gonna hear me say this for like the fifth time. And like the Scream franchise, I think got so I'm not gonna say lucky in a good way because they're the reason they don't have their lead right now. But they got really lucky that between five and six, Jenna Ortega became a household name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not wrong. So,
All right.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, me? I
Yeah.
was gonna be like, meh. I'm just gonna repeat everything I just said. So it's like,
All right. So March 17th is going to be our first drop into the DCEU with Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Does it
Yeah,
matter? Does any of
Is
this
it-
matter?
probably not, but
it,
they're all
if
getting replaced
we,
anyway.
yeah, I know it feels so bad. Like, because I remember Matt and I and somebody else, we watched Shazam 1, and we were pleasantly surprised at actually how quality that movie is. Like, just the improv humor alone. Like, I'm like, it's so fitting there. I'm on record for saying that, Thor, I'm cool without my improv comedy. Like, I'm good. But this, because he's supposed to be like a teenage boy esque, just in the form of this superhero, the humor's right there. So I get it, and it was great. And that alone would have me excited for this movie. But you said it, Clint. I'm like, the DC, like, just franchise, just everything is just so up in the air. No sense of direction. Anybody can get fired at any time, and it's just like, who knows? And you just feel so disheveled by everything that you know. Who
Well,
knows?
I will go on record in saying that I hope that James Gunn doesn't touch this, because I think a few years ago, like you said, Shazam was just a pleasant surprise because everybody thought that this character was ridiculous to begin with. Zachary Levi is not a movie star, you know what I mean? And the director was directing horror movies before this. So to actually, he directed Lights Out, actually. So to take that and like Zachary Levi, who's like a TV star, and to like actually make a quality superhero movie was very surprising. That was funny. So I think that James Gunn hopefully understands that and doesn't touch this and maybe just kind of leaves it in this little pocket by itself and maybe kind of connect it to his bigger DCU or whatever. But I don't think that you break something that works. That's just my opinion. I think that Zachary Levi is a good Shazam. Like you said, Alex, he's supposed to be a kid. He acts like a kid. And it was a very pleasantly surprising movie. And to have two female villains with the star quality that they're going to bring, yeah, I don't see that. I hope that they don't touch this. So.
Yeah, I hold the same caution. I very much agree.
Okay, so 1 week later, we have John Wick Chapter 4. Mr. Wick is back. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I had 3 movies on my anticipated list. That's one of them.
I was okay with 3. 3 was okay.
Get out of my house.
Mine too.
Wait.
No, okay. Here's the
This is
thing.
my house?
I
Get out of your own house.
I thought the first John Wick was okay. Like how Clint feels now about 3 is what I felt about 1. Like, and I watched it well after it had come out, and I was like, yeah, this movie's all right. It's very, very, very simple in its plot. You kill my dog, I kill you. That's pretty much it. And then just a bunch of boom, 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 pew, pew, pew. So I got it. Like, and then 2 was a little bit more fleshed out. So it was definitely better. Could have been even more better in my opinion, but like I was like, okay, this is an improvement. And then 3 came out, and I was like, this movie's fantastic. The story that I had been longing for in these is finally here. Plus, you got the action. So it felt very Kill Billy to me, very, very Tarantino kind of splashes. So it made me just like fall in love with the movie. I could not own the movie fast enough. So just and it's got me hyped for number 4. So I hope that they take the same kind of concept and just keep it going. I don't even care if we don't get anything really new, or if it's just kind of a, copy and paste. I'll take it. Just give me a decent story and give me the action that we're used to. So I am all for this. I like Ryan. This is up there in my most anticipated for this year. I really want to see this.
Well, I'm hoping that this will open the door for Ballerina. So
there you go. There you go.
Okay. That's John Wick. And at the end of March, we have Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
My turn for the soapbox.
Go right ahead.
This was second
again.
on my list. Second on my list of 3. I'm very much looking forward to this. The 90s one is not very good. We'll see how it goes because not to get into this is not movie news, so I don't know how much you guys follow non-movie news. Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro are currently burning their own fan base to the ground, so we'll see if that gets fixed by March or not, and if there's still D&D fans left. But presumably, if there are, I'm very excited.
There's a 90s version?
Oh yeah,
2000.
Jeremy Irons is the villain because the year 2000. Yeah, because he bought a castle and had to pay for it, so he just a career cheesiest performance. Movie's not good, but I own it on Blu-ray. It's it's the best I've had, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Oof, got a nice 10% on a Rotten Tomatoes and 3.6 at the IMDb. Oof.
Oh yeah, highly recommend it.
I mean, how do you fail when you have Jeremy Irons and Marlon Wayans in there? What?
And who was the kid? Like the kid was on like was it Superman and Lois or something like that? He was some bizarre casting. He was like the lead, and I can't remember where he was from. That was like his
Hmm.
one and only movie, and that's probably why.
I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, but like I know just a very basic concept of it. I've been watching more and more like Dungeons and Dragons if you incorporate Star Wars, if you incorporate Lord of the Ring, or well, it's very Lord of the Rings already, but like if you incorporate just random other stuff. And it's really interesting if you put it in Pokemon. And I don't even know Pokemon. And I'm watching this Dungeons and Dragons thing related with Pokemon. And I'm like, why am I watching this? I'm actually really entertained by this, but I don't get into either of these things. The reason I bring that up is I don't think this movie I have a bad feeling that this movie is not gonna be very Dungeons and Dragons. Like it's gonna just like it's it just by name, and then it's just kind of gonna deviate into just something that's got mythical creatures and not really do much else.
But I think that's the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons is because from
That is true.
my understanding, like Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have like a set like character arc
Yeah,
things. You create it by
yeah,
yourself.
Yeah.
yeah. When you look back at like when the 2001 came out, which I'm not sure why it followed like such a weird story the way it did. You know, D&D wasn't in fifth edition like it is now, which it's not going to be soon, but who knows? But it's just such a kind of it's turned into such a kind of a loose, free for all kind of experience, not just lumping it all like that, but it's not necessarily about like one specific thing anymore. It's not combat focused or anything like that. So it's just kind of everything. And this movie looks like it's trying to just kind of do an all around big,
Hmm.
messy nonsense. We're just going to go around and drop cameos from Albert's gelatinous cubes. And, it might not be a great cohesive story, but that's, I think, all people want from this one right now. It's just kind of a little foray into it. We don't, I mean, I like Warcraft a lot, but we don't need a big prologue plot 2 hour Warcraft movie. Just kind of want a little bit of nonsense for 2 hours and just to be entertained and get,
Yeah,
they don't have to do things right. They just don't have to do it wrong.
yeah.
Again,
That's fair.
if there are fans left by March.
I mean, to me, it seems like an Ocean's 11 meets Lord of the Rings type movie. So
Yeah, that's kind of where my brain's going, and I guess I'm thinking a little more pessimistic and
Yeah.
less. Yeah, but
Well,
that's me. Again, I don't know anything really about Dungeons and
yeah.
Dragons. I know very very little.
And I mean, no, I promise I won't go on about any other movie this year as much as this. I won't even talk about Dune this much. Um, but like,
Hmm.
and Alex, you talk about like Lord of the Rings being like the gold standard, and it's interesting to see the way that's essentially changed in like a post Critical Role type of D&D popularity. Critical Role being Matt Mercer's group, who's just it's just kind of a loose canon fun. Not all the characters have to be good, and it's tough to motivate people to do things in it. And you kind of have that less typical heroic fantasy, and we've not really seen a lot of that lately. To the point where maybe some fantasy is not pulling not pulling its punches as well as it could in the last year or so. So I'm hoping this does a really good job feeling not only like a good D&D movie, but like a really fresh take on fantasy too.
yeah,
Yeah,
Because we
hopefully
got
I'm proven
Witcher and
wrong.
Willow kind of completely took nosedives this past fall and winter. So
I
So
have
yeah,
rose-colored glasses when it comes to Willow. So
I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it actually. But I've heard they're both terrible. So and between Rings of Power spending $1 billion and Witcher firing Henry Cavill, I'm like, what is happening to fantasy that's not owned by HBO? So I'm really
right,
hoping that D&D is something that'll stand out.
or zombies for that matter.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into April. First up in April is the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, I mean,
Alex, your soapbox.
I mean, I mean, it's not like I have a Mario shelf back here. You can't really see it very.
I'm in my way.
Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I've pretty well established myself as the Super Mario fan here, no pun intended. Yeah, in spite of Chris Pratt's involvement with this movie, I still very, very, very much want to see this movie. The first trailer, like I was actually pleasantly surprised that Jack Black is as good as he is so far. Um, and I've really tried to stay away from all these clips that I'm seeing from different like countries, and people are like putting all these clips together to kind of, hey, this is how it happens in order. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm putting this together too quickly. Like I could have probably guessed the plot already, and I probably can now, but it's still not going to stop me from seeing this. Um, I just the only thing I want is that Chris Pratt give some effort. Now, I think what some people are misconstruing is that his his accent in the movie is like non like it's that he's not trying. I feel like partially that. I think he's going to the like this isn't the Italian high pitched Mario that everybody's used to. It's like more like mixing that with like the Brooklyn Mario that I guess he was supposed to kind of be established off as first off. So I get
That's
that.
that's called the Kevin Costner School of Accents.
Yeah. Pretty much. But in spite of that, I am still really, really excited about this movie. Because I absolutely love Mario. I've loved Mario forever, and I'll be loving Mario probably till I'm in a casket somewhere. So I this is probably my number one. I just haven't outright said for this year that it's my number one, but it's probably number one. I'll just have to admit it later on. So obviously I'm watching this, so and I would very much pay for it. I'm probably going to see it once at our place and then probably go see it in IMAX somewhere just because I think I owe it to myself. So,
Hey, at least it's animated. That's all I gotta
yeah.
say.
And I will say it looks awesome. It looks
Yeah, it looks
great.
really good.
Now, because it's Nintendo and they obviously don't want to make the 1993 mistake ever again. They want to make it vibrant. They want to make it Mario. This is their baby. Like Mario is literally their mascot. So they want to make sure it's right. Um, so which is a little surprising why they went with Chris Pratt. But
So you're telling me that your probably most anticipated movie of the year is based off a fan thing that you really love because it's been going, but only getting stronger. And mine is exact same. And we both have a really weird 90s version that's just the best we've got, but terrible. And neither is probably going to be that good, but we're going to buy them on Blu-ray anyway.
yes, very, very much.
Glad we're
Um,
past that.
yeah, I know. I mean, we both have, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. So I've already bought Happy Meal toys. I'm a 30-year-old man who bought Happy Meal toys. I I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm getting it. So
All right. We're gonna close out April with Renfield. Renfield is next up. So I did rewatch this trailer, and yeah, this is so bizarre.
very much.
But I'm gonna see it for Nicholas Hoult. I don't think that he gets enough recognition
Yes.
for his work. I really loved him in The Menu. So if you, I know, Brian, you've seen it. Alex, have you seen it yet?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
It's
It's a
so
great
good.
movie.
So
Yeah.
good. I don't think that he got enough recognition for that. But yeah. So and Nicolas Cage's Dracula. That's
What
okay.
more could you want?
I know.
I know, right?
Ever heard of
Um,
Christmas in July? I mean, Christmas in April? Well,
yeah.
now you have.
All right, let's start off with May. May is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Um, if I was to make a list, this would probably be my number 2 on my list. A huge James. I've just gotten more and more respect for James Gunn and the Guardians franchises. The movies came out. As much as I loved the first one, the second one was a little drop off, but not as severe as one might think. But the introduction of Adam Warlock and kind of like seeing where these characters end up in this trilogy is kind of interesting to me. So I can't wait for this.
Yeah, I'm in for it too. I think it's good. I've also played the Guardians of the Galaxy Square Enix game, which if you guys haven't played that, um if you play through it once, that's really all you need. Dialogue is superb in that game. So combine that. I mentioned that because Adam Warlock's very much in there, and it gets me more and more like, okay, I'm ready for this character. Like, let's go, let's do
Hmm.
this. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Cool.
Me too. I just ordered my poster with Disney Insider points.
Hmm.
All right. The next up is Fast X. I'm going to go on the record in saying that no, no, thank you. Um, I don't want to be a part of the family. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this movie. I don't care that the budget has ballooned to $380 million. I don't care. I don't care at all.
They're gonna
I
make
am
the.
just
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
I'm just waiting for this movie to finally well, I'm just gonna say Transformers out and stop making money so everyone realizes how bad on average that they are. I'm not saying one of them made me cry, but most of them are terrible, so I don't want any more.
Well, those are the ones that made me cry. So
Yeah, I'm waiting for this movie to bomb, and then they'll be like, "Oh man, we got the extended director's cut, XL."
Gosh, you should work for Universal.
Yeah, yeah.
Genuinely a bad, good pitch for releasing if they have an extended cut.
yay.
Yeah. So those kind of ideas. And I'm not, that's a pun joke that I know is very much it needs to, go rot somewhere. Um, those are kind of ideas that have gotten us to where we are in this franchise. And oddly enough, I've only ever seen the most recent one. And it's because my wife has watched them all and we had to go watch it. It was like Brian mentioned way earlier. You have to have a date night sometime. And that was
Yeah,
our date night.
I'm sorry.
I've seen every single one of these
Oh, I'm
for
sorry,
some
On
Ryan.
purpose
reason
too. On
on
purpose
purpose.
too.
I've liked two of them.
Three and
Two of them, I
seven.
think. Six and seven for me.
Uh,
But you know, I
And
can
one
see
of
three
them was
being
Hobbs and Shaw.
definitively like guilty pleasure. Shut up.
you shut your face.
You can get out of our house now.
Okay,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
All right. Let's end the month of May with The Little Mermaid. This is another soapbox moment for me. Who cares? Who cares she's black? I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's another Disney remake. That's what I care about. And
Yep.
I just hope that it's good. Let's just put it at that. I don't
Yeah.
She's a mermaid.
People are weird for for the weirdest reasons. Like, yeah, who cares that she's black? Like that has no bearing on anything. Like, just let people be, okay? Um, I will say, just generally Disney is like all their live actions. We all know this. Most of them are meh. And it's just the same. It's probably just going to be the same. Like, I will go see this because it's a beloved classic. But do I expect it to be more than meh? No, I don't. I'm going to see it because one, it's Disney, and two, it's The Little Mermaid. Disney knows people are going to see it. Now, hopefully, I'm surprised, but I don't expect it.
No.
Nope.
Ryan?
I have enjoyed maybe one Disney remake.
And it was
And I
Aladdin.
enjoyed it because my expectations were so low because I love Aladdin. I think that's pretty much the reason I enjoyed it is because I was like, this is not bad. I'm not saying it's good, it's just not bad. It's fine. I enjoy it. I actually have a
I
really,
agree.
really nice copy of it for some reason. I found it at Target and I was like, I guess I'm going to own this. And it's the only one I'm going to own. Um, I don't know. I love Little Mermaid and I don't want any remake in any way. So I just hope this doesn't make $1 billion like Lion King.
I was there with you, Ryan, until the very end. Um, I I obviously love Aladdin's my all-time favorite Disney, and I agree. I thought that was going to be so bad that I kept my expectations so low, I just did not want it to ruin the original for me, and it didn't. And I was like, okay, you have set out to achieve your goal, and you did. Um, and I liked Lion King. I know I'll die on that hill. I'll be over
It's
there.
just the
Just
same movie, but worse and longer.
okay. I know. Sometimes sometimes when you're wrong about a movie, like
I've
when
got
you
so many.
genuinely like it. Yeah,
Like
that's one of them for
Batman v
me.
Superman.
Yeah, that's another one of them. I know. If Matt were right here in the bottom corner, he'd be like, "Oh, that you mean you talk about every movie that you ever like, Alex?" Like, Matt, shut the heck up.
Wow, I
Um,
won't go that
yeah.
far.
So, but yeah, yeah. I think we all have the same opinion on this. Just
Yep.
hope it's not.
All right. My number one for this year is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Um, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I love the first one. The first one was very much a surprise to me because Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters, and I think that I'm gonna go on record and saying that probably Spider-Man um, was probably the best Spider-Man movie, um, even more than the Tobey Maguire ones or whatever. So
I
yeah,
agree. Yeah, everything you just said, I agree.
yeah,
Yes. I saw the first uh, not Into the Spider-Verse. No,
yes.
Into the Spider-Verse. I
Yes.
get confused with the titles. Um, when I saw it, I wasn't like blown away by like the story or anything, but that's because I wasn't truly into it. But I've learned more and more about it, and have gone back to look at it, and I'm like, I appreciate this movie way more than I originally did. Just the development of it is just mind blowing of how much production had to go into it. So,
Mhm.
yes, now I have more and more appreciation for it. And Clint, yes, I am very much looking forward to this. Yeah, yes, very much.
Okay, so that's June 2nd. June 9th is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I just use Transformers as an example to talk about Fast and Furious. And putting a monkey robot in it is not going to sway me to go back to your Transformers movies, except that I have an AMC pass and I'll go see it. But on principle, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Alex? Okay.
I've never been into Transformers. I randomly have only ever seen Transformer 2.
The worst one of
And it was,
so many.
friends wanted to go out and do something. I was like, and they said, "Hey, you want to go do that?" And I remember how long ago it was because, very random, factoid is that was right around when, Michael Jackson had died. So I was like, I just remember that being 2009 sometime, June, whatever. So, um, yeah, I've only ever seen that one though. And I'm just like, I just like I don't care. I don't care about the Transformers, like good or bad. I don't care.
I've seen all of them. And from Transformers 2 all the way until the movie Rampage, Transformers 2 was my least favorite movie of all time.
Of all time, like of
Of
every
all time.
anything.
My Transformers 2, my least favorite
Wow,
movie of all time until Dwayne Johnson and a big white ape.
wow.
Yep. Cool.
So that Rampage now is your most like hated movie of all time.
I hate Rampage. I felt insulted to be there.
I've not seen it, so I mean I'm not trying to defend it or
No,
anything.
yeah.
You should watch it.
I
You'll feel dumb. You'll feel stupid for watching it.
I almost kind of want to now.
You should. It just, I don't need to talk about Rampage. Let's move on. What's happening
Okay.
June, whatever we're on.
All right. Next is June 16th, and it's Elemental. I've actually skipped this trailer, not by choice, because it came out in like the middle of my school going. So I actually haven't seen the trailer for this, but it is Pixar, so yay.
I've
Bring
seen
on
a
the
little
Pixar.
bit of it,
Yeah.
and I'm I don't know. I think because we've seen a lot of like elemental, not to play on the wordage on this, but like elemental, like movies dealing with elements of like fire, earth, water, air, all of that stuff. We've seen a lot of it more recently, and my first reaction was, okay, Disney, you're kind of just going along with you're copying everybody's like projects here. So
Yeah.
but that's just me. That's just me.
I agree. I mean, it's tough to tell. I would say I can't think of any exceptions to the rule, so I'm just going to blanket say this. I think most Pixar trailers just don't look that good, and then you go see it and it's amazing. Some of it, a lot of the time, and so it's tough to tell sometimes what's just going to be good. I don't know if that's just because they're hard to market, or if that just is a blanket statement that's wrong. I just remember not looking forward to Inside Out because I didn't think it looked good, and I cried 3 times because it
Yeah.
was an amazing freaking movie. And then I was like, ever since then, I was like, I'm just gonna wait till this gets closer because I just don't know how this looks. But Alex, I agree with you. This looks like Zootopia with elements.
Bingo. Couldn't have better said it
Bingo.
better. Bingo.
Okay. Next up on June's 23rd is The Flash. Finally,
Probably not.
apparently, I don't
No
know.
way.
This
No
is got,
way. I'm betting against it.
we're getting betting against. I'm betting for because apparently this is finished. Hopefully. Um,
How are they going to show Ezra Miller the video? Can he get like a private screening in prison? I'm just kidding. I know he's not. But just,
Oh,
I've got to just make at least one joke about it.
um,
I hope he gets well, mentally speaking.
yeah.
But this movie won't happen.
I
no.
personally hope that he's the first one to get axed. To be honest with you, they need to replace Ezra Miller as the Flash. But
If he hasn't by now, I don't think it'll ever happen.
um, don't say that. Um,
They're just waiting
I'm
until these movies get closer.
yeah. I'm seeing this for Keaton and Affleck as Batman. I want to see them like in the same room. I think that would be kind of cool to see. I don't think that's going to
Yeah.
happen, but that would be pretty cool to see. I'm going to go see for Supergirl. I think that's an interesting insert into this DCU. Hopefully, she doesn't lose her job because she just got this job, and whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go see it for. I could care less about Ezra Miller. Um, Up next, June 30th. This is probably my number 3. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Nostalgia, bro. Love me some Indy. And number 4 doesn't exist, so we're just gonna right over that.
I am I will see this because, it's Indiana Jones. You have to see it. Like, but am I like objectively speaking, thinking that this is going to be great or, good? I don't know. I have no idea. But, I'm going to see this. I am at most, um, let's say whelmed. I am whelmed. I'm not like overhyped. I'm not like down in the dumps thinking, oh, this is gonna be a pile of crap again. No, I'm just like, it's gonna be an Indiana Jones movie. Here we go.
Yay, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's hard not to get excited for John Williams and his potentially retirement score. Like, I'm gonna love at least one aspect of this movie, and that's the aspect I'll be happy with loving, even if the movie's not very good. I'm not
There you
saying, but Raiders, one of my all-time favorite films, but like, I don't know. Just very excited for the score.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go again, a little bit of tangent, but it's related. During this last holiday season, I was watching Home Alone. Home Alone 1 and 2. And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I did not even realize that John Williams did those two until this year or till last
The
year. I was
man,
like,
the man wrote the Christmas score that doesn't even that transcends the genre somehow. People are still like, I just hear that in Walmart sometimes, and I'm like, what an amazing guy.
I know. I was just like, when it finally like a light went off, I was just like, oh, why didn't I just realize that ever? It just sounds so John Williams-esque,
Pretty sure that's one
so
of his like 40 Oscar nominations or however many he has.
yeah. I mean, so that alone, I'll agree with Ryan. That alone, this could be his farewell tour, so come on.
Yay. All right. Next up, probably my number 5 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I actually really enjoy the Mission Impossible movies. I really enjoyed Fallout. I think Ghost Protocol will probably be my favorite one. But I really like the Mission Impossible movies. And of course, there's always the chance that Tom Cruise could die. So there's that. I don't think he will.
We're talking about real life or in the movie?
Yes.
Both. Yes. Yes. But yeah, what do you guys think? Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
I think.
Yep.
What do I think?
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think? I got to gather my thoughts for a second. Go ahead.
It's hard not to be excited for like the last movie star in existence. So, the man's single-handedly carrying so much of like what people still love about movies. Genuine stunts and exciting action sequences and good storytelling. And they've gotten somehow each movie seems to get better and better and better to an impossible, pun intended, degree.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe the last one was better than the one before that. I couldn't. Rogue Nation and the other one, but it was amazing.
Ghost Protocol.
Whatever they're called. Ghost Protocol, then Rogue Nation, then what?
Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But like, see, I feel bad not knowing the names. Good with the names. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. I'm excited. Looks good.
Well, after they stopped, numerically doing it, I will admit, it's hard to remember which one's which.
Obviously, nothing beats leather jacket, firing two pistols, jumping sideways in slow motion with explosions and doves from the second movie to electric guitar. But other than that movie, they're fantastic.
I am probably just like everybody else in America, excited to see this. Part of me, just a small part of me thinks, a little bit corporate greed kind of deal because they're doing part 1, part 2, but that's just me, just a tiny bit,
I would argue that Tom Cruise probably just made a 5-hour movie and somebody was like, "Oh, can we just cut this in half?"
Yeah, that very much could have happened, and I actually don't disagree with that. I think that actually very much happened. So that's why a very small part of me thought that for a second with the whole,
Might be the case. Who knows?
But I remember gushing over the first trailer that ever came out, especially towards the end, and I was just like, this looks fantastic. How is it that we've seen so many action sequences, trains, the boats, planes, everything, just like we've seen so much stuff, and you see little featurettes of talking about, this is the work that went into this, and this is and I'm just like, how are we topping it? It's like Ryan said, how are we continually topping this? And it's just like, I need to go see this. It's like, it's almost a little like a drug that's just a little bit more intense, and it's just like, I kind of need to. It's not a matter of if I want to go see this or if I feel like I have to. I kind of just gotta go see this. Kind of just owe it to myself. So yes, very much. Without really truly thinking about it, this is at least in my top. I'd probably say 8 for the year. Yeah.
Nice.
Something like that.
All right. So the 21st is going to be Oppenheimer, which is Christopher Nolan's next, about Robert Oppenheimer and the build of the Manhattan Project. I'm going just to see Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you'll
That's
see
all
him
I need to say.
there.
You never know.
Clint, you nailed it. That's literally all I need to say.
Yeah.
That's literally the same thing.
He'll be there in spirit.
I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to the other 21st July movie, Ed.
Are you serious?
Eh? What is it?
Christopher
Barbie.
Nolan, Greta Gerwig.
It's Barbie. 21st.
Oh,
Though I did chuckle at that trailer. Like I was just like, at least we're not taking this too seriously.
Yeah. I'm happy they're both still sticking to the same weekend, and then I can see both back to back.
Yeah. So, a week after those two is going to be the Marvels. Again, I'm going to go see this because of the 2 other ones. I don't care about Brie Larson, but I do care about like Ms. Marvel. I thought that was an underrated Marvel show that they put out. I did like Aman Vellani. I think that she's I think she'll do well in the MCU. So I'm actually very kind of excited for this and to see like where it kind of goes.
You've made me realize how little I've watched of Marvel, at least of the series recently, because I've not watched the Marvels, Miss Marvel, I'm sorry,
Ms. Marvel, yeah.
or um, or She-Hulk, or really all of what was that, Moon Knight, and then no, so I'm just like I'm good. I mean, it's not that I'm good. Like I'll probably miss this one because I just feel like there's too much homework to do to get this. So I'm just like, I don't know.
All right. On August 4th, there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which I guess is the animated feature from Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. I don't know how I feel about this because I was a major Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan from the original cartoon to the first two movies. Third one I could deal without. And then the TMNT that came out in what was it, 2012, 2007. I really like that animated feature. And these are the same two guys that brought us Invincible. So I'm hoping that it isn't that kind of weird, obviously not like R-rated Invincible way, like The Boys or whatever. But I do hope that they bring a little bit more accuracy to this because I was not a fan of the last two movies. I thought they were okay. I thought the motion capture was pretty cool. I was really surprised that Johnny Knoxville did the voice in the first movie. But I just don't think the last two movies actually captured what the Turtles were about. And I hope this one does.
But didn't Michael Bay do both of the previous ones?
He produced them.
Oh,
but it does look like a Michael Bay film.
But you pretty much got it, Clint. The whole Seth Rogen's involvement with Invincible and The Boys. I'm like, he's been part of pretty good stuff recently. So I mean, initially I would be like, Seth Rogen doing the Ninja Turtles. All right, how long before one of them, has a bong out and smokes weed? So, but because of the recent works, now I'm not really a Ninja Turtle fan at all. Like I've never really cared about them. Not to say that they're bad. It's just never been an interest of mine. I would see this. I would see this just out of pure like, hey, this is what you've done in very, very recent memory. So I will go ahead and I will watch this because you haven't steered me wrong recently. So yeah, I'd give it a shot.
All right. So for the next few films, I'm just gonna kind of like rattle these out because I don't really care about some of these films that they just put on here, to be honest with you. Haunted Mansion, another remake from a Disney. Yeah, I was like, okay. It's going to be directed by Justin Simeon, which is a pretty good director. Blue Beetle, I'm kind of excited. I'd kind of like to see because they did take it off. They were supposed to throw it onto HBO Max, but now they're going to actually put it in the theaters. And he's a Latin American superhero, so representation is always good. Equalizer 3. Not really sure why we needed a third one of this.
I like the second one, but I agree that we probably don't need another one. I enjoyed the second one though.
Yeah. A Haunting in Venice, another Poirot movie. Yeah. Kenneth Branagh, what's his name? Hercule Poirot movie. I didn't see Death on the Nile, so I think I'm pretty good with this. The Expendables 4, another one. Like why do we need this? That's kind of dumb. Kraven the Hunter, which is a Spider-Man villain. Sony, if you're listening, please stop making movies about Spider-Man villains. It's kind of stupid. If you haven't learned that by Venom.
Oh gosh.
And I thought you were going to lean forward. And I thought you were going to say, Sony, if you're listening, please stop making movies.
That's what I thought.
I was going to second that.
Except for the Spider-Verse movies, you can still keep making those.
They totally don't count.
It's true.
What? Not to sidetrack here. What do we think is a worse film? Carnage or Morbius?
Morbius.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
such a coin flip. I hated Carnage. I absolutely hated Carnage.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know
here's the
what?
thing. At least they didn't release it twice.
That and and what Carnage is like an hour and 20 something minutes, an hour and a half maybe. So it's
Something like
way
that.
significantly shorter. So you get less of it. So yeah, maybe Morbius is the one. Anyway, sorry. I wanted to take a poll real quick.
That's okay. This is where they start to become interesting again because now it's going into October and Oscar season and stuff like that. The Exorcist. It seems to be a legacy sequel coming from the same guys that did Halloween, David Gordon Green. This one
Nothing
kind
can
of
go wrong there.
with the first one, but I'm sure evil won't die because it's supposed to be a follow-up from the same demon uh, in the first film. I big fan of the first Exorcist movie. The other ones can kick rocks for all I care. But I'm kind of like you said, Ryan. I am kind of excited because the first 2018 Halloween was good. I mean, I think we can all agree. But the first one of that series was good, and then somebody was just, I guess, was just like, yeah, this is really good, and like the fame got to the writer's head or something, and it was just
Well,
like,
and someone wrote the second one?
well, maybe it was just like spitballs on a storyboard or something. But yeah, like the last two were just so dumb, for lack of a better word. But so I hope that he puts at least enough, like the same effort that he did for 2018 Halloween into this Exorcist. Because I think it's a good story. Any thoughts on that one, guys?
I'm not much of an Exorcist person. I'm good.
Okay. Next up is Dune Part 2. So this is probably like number 4 on my list.
Yeah, I'd probably say number 4 on my list too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dune's only like my 14th favorite film of all time now or something like that. So I only saw it 5 times, and it's only 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. So I guess I'm excited.
I only put
Timothy.
Timothy Chalamet's poster and
I have
right in
Timothy
front of my
Chalamet in my
shower.
room
Look, this
in person.
nice.
I named my dog Timothy Chalamet.
Very excited. Very excited. Cast editions. I hope it's 2.5 hours. I can't wait to own it. Yeah, nothing I can say. I mean, I'm assuming Zimmer's doing the score for this one, and I try not to just repeat between just giving somebody the best score of the year for a sequel score, but probably going to be my best score of 2023. So
Yeah, I that is my front runner expectation is what I will say too is like I just right well and then well we'll get to it in a second but yeah I agree Ryan, that's my anticipated number one of this upcoming year.
All right. Of course, we get a prequel of The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Sure.
who asked for this? But it's fine.
And this is a person who's actually
Nobody.
seen them. I've not seen any of them, and I don't care. I don't care.
On average, I think they're good. 2 and 3 are really good, but 4 ruins 3, and 1 maybe isn't worth it to get to 2. But if you do, you'll like 2, and then if you stop at 3, you'll cliffhanger. But if you watch 2/3 of 4, 1, 2, 3, 2/3 of 4, do that. They're okay. They're all okay.
Yeah.
I think they're fun. I think they're fun.
Well, the last one did a Harry Potter where they split it into 2 movies, but it's one. Whatever.
I loved part 1, and then part 2 didn't do anything with it, so it made part 1 just dumb. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
But,
I like every Harry Potter. Five is my probably least favorite, but that's just me.
Is it really?
What?
Alex,
Off the top of my head,
I think
Order
five's
of the
my
Phoenix.
favorite.
Well,
Five is your favorite
well,
Harry Potter movie?
it's funny. When we were remember when we were doing the Thanksgiving, best Thanksgiving movie thing for your page, Ryan. Um, well, I watched one, two, and then three, obviously, because that was Prisoner of Azkaban was my nomination for that. And I go back and I was like, everybody thinks that Chamber of Secrets is the worst Harry Potter movie, and I'm like, probably unanimously yes. But I went back and I watched it, and I'm like, this is not quite as bad as I remember it being. Like, it's not great,
Yes.
but
It's
um,
not as boring as like seven or anything.
and then the secret was I said that number three was not quite as good when I watched that, but I still wanted to say that that was the best Thanksgiving movie because of the themes in it. Um, and then because I'm married to an absolute Harry Potter aholic, um, that I've seen that we go to bed watching these movies, so she has something to fall asleep to. So I've seen the beginning of like at least the first five movies a billion times. So I one through four solid films. Five, I don't know. I maybe got to watch five again. Like I don't watch these movies all the way through to go to bed, but I'm like I'm okay. But I also haven't seen it whole in a while. So off the top of my head, yeah, it is my least favorite. But again, these are like these are like Harvard graduates. Everybody's got to be good. Somebody's just got to be on the bottom though. So that's
Does
all I'll say
Ashley?
about
Seven's the one that like coasted because he played sports.
that.
That's
Yeah.
the hell his run.
Um, Half-Blood Prince, I remember watching it like two times in my life, maybe three times. And I was like, I kind of didn't get it at first, but I was like, maybe going back after I had watched because it was a while after six that I had seen part one and part two that I haven't gone back to go, oh, you know what? That makes sense now. Or that no, whatever. So, but they're all good. They're all good Harry Potters.
Anyway.
Yeah, Hunger Games spin-off.
Cool. Yeah. Of course, there's going to be a Disney animated movie, Wish. Sure. Okay. The animated Disney movies, like the actual Disney coming from Disney Animation Studios, is hit or miss. I still think that Big Hero 6 is better than Frozen, but that's just me.
What's the name of it?
Big Hero 6.
No, no, I mean
Oh,
the upcoming movie.
Wish.
I thought that's what you said, and I was like, are we really making a movie about like that like very garage sale looking version of like Etsy, like Wish being the where you can get a counterfeit anything for $5?
No.
Okay, sure.
Apparently, it's the story of the star, the wishing star that's in all of like the classic Disney movies.
Great. I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm sure that'll do just as well as Strange World. Maybe not. Maybe even a little better.
Well,
Which is
hold
to
on.
say, some people might see it.
Hurry, Disney. You gotta not promote it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get started on deciding
Yeah,
what two posters you're going to have for your entire theatrical run.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta start not promoting it right now so you can continue and really do hard
Yeah.
not promoting it, a week before it comes out.
Make sure to get some really confusing Disney Plus ads up.
Hey, you guys stop. Disney pays their paychecks. So next up is Wonka.
I forgot about this.
It
I
is
did
the
too.
season of Chalamet, apparently.
Look, Tim's right over there, so I can't say anything negative.
Hi,
Stop.
Timothy.
Good, Timothy. I'm on the fence with this one. I have, the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, with Gene Wilder is a beloved film. Absolute classic. But then I have PTSD from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Johnny Depp's weird rendition and that movie just in existence as a whole. So I'm like hesitant, but I know it's not like it can't be like that. Hopefully,
Okay,
so
this is my stance pre-trailer because obviously we haven't gotten a trailer for this. There is no fence. I don't care. Why do we need this? We don't need another origin story
that's
of
a good
another
point.
person from a beloved classic from somewhere far, far away. Don't care. Don't care.
That's a good point. I will say that. That's a pretty good point.
But whatever. It's not my call.
I don't have attachment one way or the other. I didn't like the original and then liked the new one and then learned that classics were good. So then I liked the original and didn't like the new one. And then at one point I watched them back to back and I was like, oh, both of these are fine. They're just very different and both just really odd, depending on how you look at it. So I don't think the old one should get a pass for not being, because I think the old one's weirder than the new one. So, you know,
I
sure, I'm up for this.
and I think I agree with you, Ryan, just for the fact that I think that people associate Tim Burton with weird and make
Yeah.
it more
Yes.
weird than like the 73 version. When you actually, if you look at it, like just because Burton has darker tones in his movies, that the first 73 version was just a little whacked out.
Mhm.
And that and new one had squirrels. I think that's literally the only difference. Because I if I remember correctly, I believe the book actually had the squirrels and not the geese, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think you're right. Yeah. They did, I can't remember. They did it to say like save costs or something because they just couldn't make it like these were easy.
yeah. Anyway, cool. Whatever. Um, Next up we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Could be.
I was
They
gonna
just for
say
everything DC.
Weren't we supposed to get this year too?
Yep. This past December
Yes.
was its original release date.
Past
And they
December,
were like
yes.
doing the whole DC showcase trailer before the Batman, and Batman made a lot of money. And then they pushed all their other projects back for a reason.
remember how before Morbius came out, Clint was like, I don't believe this movie exists. Yeah, I'm saying that about this. I don't think this movie exists.
Oh yeah, I thought that Morbius was just the trailer. That's right. It's just a trailer. Yeah, okay. First one was fine. This is probably his last little hoorah as Aquaman 2. Or as well, I should say.
But yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? And that is the last of the actual dated ones. There's a couple on here that are to be dated. Beau Was Afraid from Ari Aster, who's the director of Hereditary and Midsummer. Sure, why not? Why not another
I think
one?
that just got a trailer, so it should have a date, but I don't remember what it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, isn't it?
Mhm.
Maestro with Bradley Cooper. I think this is a Netflix movie that's coming out. Napoleon with Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix, ironically. And another Wes Anderson movie, Asteroid City, with Margot. It looks like Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson, Edward Norton, Tom Hanks, Steve Carell, and a few other people.
That's a pretty solid cast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, one more. Killers of the Flower Moon. This one I'm actually kind of looking forward to because this is Scorsese and DiCaprio, and it takes place in the 20s, I believe. Yes, and it's a murder mystery on Native American reservation, I believe. So actually, I'm actually kind of excited for that one. But any of those TBD ones that you guys want to see?
Did you happen to because I can't remember if it's supposed to come out this year. Isn't the next Ghostbusters movie supposed to come out this year?
I believe so, but I don't believe they've actually started filming.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
It's not coming out this year. I think it's one of those things where they gave an initial release date and then they just haven't updated it yet, which is we see a lot when you look at it, like looking at it like the fall slate too. We got that this year. I thought Mario was coming out in December until November, and I was like, when is this movie coming out? And they were like, March, you idiot. And I was like, "Ugh." So this is what happens if you don't keep on the release dates. They change without you noticing. So
Right.
Oh, I mean, Ryan, it's going to happen even if you do because they change all the
yeah,
time. So,
yeah,
who cares?
yeah. And I mean, like especially when we're talking
Yeah,
about the fall stuff, like Oscar season is these will probably all come out. But who knows? Watch the trailers will all drop right after we put this up. But
probably.
I think the only
Um,
thing that wasn't was that we didn't mention that I could think of was Evil Dead. I'm kind
Oh,
of excited
yeah.
for another
oh
Evil Dead.
yeah, Evil Dead Rises comes out in April,
Think so?
March,
Yeah,
March or April.
spring.
Spring. Yeah. I mean, I like the original series. I thought the newer one, when it was 2013, was a little over the top, but it's Evil Dead. Yeah, sorry. So as far as I know, as far as Ghostbusters Aftermath 2 comes, I believe Jason Reitman just stepped down as director.
Mm.
Because I don't think that he's actually directing it this time. I believe it was like one of his like assistant directors or something that's kind of like familiar with the series that's doing it. On the same note, uh, not as Ghostbusters, but as movies that were actually not on this, but I do know that are coming out next year is Joker.
Oh yeah.
Joker 2 is coming out in October, I believe. Um, the only reason why I'm interested in that is because I as much as I did like the first one, I'm kind of more interested to see how um, Lady Gaga will kind of take her turn as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I know that I've said this like a few times on this podcast. I think that Margot Robbie probably was born to play Harley Quinn, but I mean, I am kind of interested to see how they turn her character a little bit.
I think I agree with everything you just said. I agree. Margot Robbie kind of just like she was bred to play her,
Hmm.
but because now I know we talk about Lady Gaga, and I mean, I think we often forget that she was now granted this one movie is way too long. House of Gucci is way too long, but her performance in it is fairly solid, fairly good. Like she's a standout in it. Um, but and she now I didn't see what's that one that's been recreated a bunch of times? A
Star Wars
Star is
one.
Born.
Star is
Yeah.
Born.
Um, I've not seen that because I've just people are just like, oh my gosh, this is so great. The music's so great. Blah, 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 blah. And I just like you guys have talked about it way too much that it's actually counteracting that, and I just don't want to see it. But I heard she was good in that too. So taking those couple of things. And I think I've seen a couple of like on set like pictures maybe kind of floating around. It might be a little too soon for that to be a thing. Maybe I just heard about it and just maybe I thought I saw something, but yeah, I think that's good. I think it's weird that the movie's existing at all, but if we're getting it, I agree with you, Clint. Seeing Gaga as Harley Quinn, it's a very interesting idea, and I'm actually intrigued by it. Yes. Um, but
So
go
according
ahead,
to
Clint. Sorry.
according to Rotten Tomatoes, April 21st is Evil Dead Rises. Sorry.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to see if there's anything else on this list that maybe wasn't on there. A Quiet Place spinoff maybe coming. That seems kind of weird since it's coming in September. The Nun 2, Exorcist Craven and the Hunter. Yeah, most of these are all the same.
Yeah, I can't think
Well,
of
let's
anything. I think.
do number
Go ahead,
one
Ryan.
of 2023 is Dune for me. We can skip that next year.
Um,
Nice.
are we talking about what we're thinking of in 2024 now?
No, I was just talking about
Uh,
future best of the year.
I guess my most anticipated for this year, just by default, I guess it is going to be Mario. But I clearly know I'm biased on that one, so I can't really think of anything that Clint didn't already cover. Um, Yeah, it's
Guy Ritchie's got a movie somewhere, but I feel like the poster's been up and down, and the release date's been on and off for the last year and a half now. So
Mhm.
I would look forward to it if I knew its existence.
you
Um,
mentioned oh no, you already talked about Blue Beetle. Never mind.
yeah. Um,
Um,
yeah, it looks like, oh, Knock at the Cabin was February 3rd, by the way.
mhm. Yeah, I knew Ryan and I we knew it was either three or four. One of yeah. Um yeah, that
Like
movie.
he comes up with concepts that he doesn't really know, develop enough to write about, and then puts it on actors who really can't comprehend it when they're delivering their performances, and then expects a twist that doesn't really work with the story to carry it.
Clint, you forgot to mention this what absolutely looks like Oscar worthy. The movie 65 with Mr. Adam Driver. I mean, come on, man.
I think you
Come
mean
on, man.
the After Earth prequel before Earth.
Right.
This was one of those, man, why is this hallway full of fake movies?
I watched the trailer for that for the first time like a couple hours ago, and I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty good." I was into it, and then it kept going, and I was like, "No, this does not look good."
I think that's the only one like that I'm seeing on another list that you overlooked. Not that you really need to look at that one. Um, no.
Uh, I didn't know this, but there's a spiritual sequel to Searching called Missing.
Oh yeah, that comes out not this Friday, but next Friday. Um,
Um,
If you watch the trailer, it looks like Searching, but the same.
you know what
yeah.
though? I did miss Magic Mike. That's coming as well.
My number one.
Gotta rush out to see that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. There's not enough gyrating in the last two movies.
Let's go see it, the three of us together, and just see how uncomfortable that makes us all feel.
I don't know, man. We
um,
all watched The Last Duel, so I think we're up for anything
oh my
uncomfortable.
gosh. I kind of want to see A Good Person. That's directed by Zach Braff with Florence Pugh. Um, I liked Garden State a lot. That was one of my favorite movies that year.
I remember when I was into Scrubs and looking up more Zach Braff, what he'd been in, kind of and around that, like before and during. And I remember hearing not controversial, like mixed things about Garden State. Um, uh, so I that was on my list like 10 years ago. I was like, you know what, I might get to watch that, and then no, I never got around to that. So maybe I'll go back and rethink about that. Yeah, I think you've covered everything.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like now there's just like really random movies that I like. I'm on menshealth.com now, and they're just kind of like really random, pretty much all the stuff that we've gone over now. All right. You guys got anything else then? No other movies you could think of?
Nope. 2023 has some good ones, some meh ones, some ones, but hope hopefully going to be a good year. Hopefully, can't be any worse than last year. Cannot be anywhere. Well, I don't know.
No, you
Never
just
say
jinxed it.
never say
Yeah.
never.
Now you've said
And
it, so here we go.
Yeah,
and
now
then
it's
and
on
then
record.
Ryan comes through the screen and punches me when Dune 2 absolutely bombs.
Goodness, hey, you know what? We started the like I said, we started the year with a PG-13 Blumhouse horror film, and it's apparently good. So I'm open to anything.
Yeah,
And
right.
anything's possible. So,
Anything is
nope,
possible.
that's all I got too.
All right. Well, next week I'll think of something for us to do if we can gather next week. I know I'm free, but I just don't know what we're gonna watch.
Well, for right now, if all of us have time and have plans on seeing it at some point, we can make our review about Megan and or what's the Tom Hanks? Otto, Man Called Otto. If anybody goes to see that, or Plane, any one of those three, pick your choice, and we can kind of come back and be like, hey, this is what I did.
Or the fork I may stick in my eye.
That's called House Party, by the way.
That's right. All right.
With Timothée Chalamet.
He said having gone to see The Devil Conspiracy instead. So, joke's on me.
Sticking a fork in my eye. Co-starring Timothée Chalamet.
It's the year for Timothée Chalamet. Usually he's like around like October to November, isn't it? Like didn't Bones and All come out like in October as well?
Yeah. It was a Thanksgiving release.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because I was wondering why they put the Campbell movie in wide release on Thanksgiving, but not Fablemans in wide release. But Bones and All is pretty good, so.
Yeah, the cannibalistic movie for Thanksgiving. Hey, what are you having? Don't you mean who am I having?
Haha. Go to bed, Alex.
All right. Guess we're shutting you down. All right. If you guys don't have anything else, thank you all for listening and or watching. Please subscribe and like and everything, all that good stuff. But until next week, see y'all later.